Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talking Tongue, the weekly quarantine show where I get to talk to my friends near and far to talk about very long movies. This is going to be a 4-hour podcast. Strap yourself in. Today with me, let's not waste any time. Because we have, I don't know, the movie of the generation to talk about today. Is that fair to say? I don't know. I have my very own Justice League with me, the Wonder Woman of our crew, Angus Macdonald, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and strictly only because you're badass and you have probably the best fight sequences.
Oh, thank you.
Whenever we get together.
Yeah. Well, and my themes, my theme song's still a banger.
Still a banger.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, can't wait. It was
holy shit.
Time?
Fourth
time you're on Talking Tongue?
I think this is the fourth time. I forget what the other topics were, but this is the most exciting topic. I wish the viewers at home could see our call because it's in a 4:3 aspect ratio.
Oh no! Yeah, just to preserve the my original vision of
the vision. Oh man, I've got a lot of thoughts. And I'm gonna go ahead and just tease it a little bit. I've got a lot of thoughts. Not all of them bad.
That's fine. Fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Up.
You know what? That's fine because hang on. We can't get there yet. We can't get there yet.
We can't get there yet.
But Angus, I'm happy to have you nonetheless.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah. It's good. It's good. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
And I was excited to watch this movie for some reason.
Me too.
You and I were in a chat group with other friends and the topic of the Snydercut came up and they were both immediately like, no thanks. And you and I were both like, I have to watch it. I don't know. Like, I am compelled. It's this completionist. Like, I don't know what it is, but like I had to watch it. I was compelled. And I'm here to say I'm glad I watched it.
Me too. But hang on. The next guest
big asterisk next to that.
Is the next guest is excited to talk about our topic today. What would you say?
He's the Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. The character that's not in the movie.
Yeah, well, no, just of the Justice League.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
But maybe not. Fine. He's I don't know. He's Martian Manhunter. Would you prefer I said Martian Manhunter? Because he was in the movie technically.
Yeah, true.
Why? I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Guys, was he Aunt May or not Aunt May? Was he Ma Kent the whole time?
We'll find out.
When? Why?
We'll find out.
Why does the speech have to come from Martian Manhunter?
Martian Matt Hunter, how are you doing today?
Doing good. I'm also excited to talk about this. I'm not going to lie. I watched it day that it came out.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then since then, really examined my relationship with that movie for like the rest of the week.
Okay. I'm very excited to talk about this, guys. Matt Barrow, Angus Macdonald, everyone, frequent guests on the podcast, and you know them, you love them. Usually every single week on Talking Tongue, we go through the process of, hey, how's it going? How's quarantine treating you? We know these two are doing fine. They're doing fine right now. They're at their peak level. They've been working out because they really want to represent the Justice League the best way possible. Yeah, and they're flexing. You can't see it right now. Yeah. They're gonna fight Steppenwolf themselves, probably. I don't know. Probably lose. And okay. So before we get into the movie, I know we're really excited to talk about it.
Oh, right, yeah.
We're really excited to talk about it. I usually go through pop culture news of the week, and I'm going to just gloss over it because there's really no time when there's talking about a movie that's this freaking long, this well anticipated. Like, there's just no time to talk about the fluff pieces of the week. But, let's just talk about a few things, okay? First of all, Suicide Squad trailer dropped just a few days ago. And what better way to talk about, like, lead into the DC universe than talk about the Suicide Squad trailer? I assume you both seen it.
Yes. Yeah. The Justice League had a distinctly the original, the Joss Whedon cut had like a Marvel feel to it, and then the Zack Snyder cut decidedly not. And then I watched the trailer for Suicide Squad again. I'm like, oh yeah, it feels kind of like a Marvel movie, So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
It feels like
it looks better than the first one. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't trust trailers anymore, though. Like, the trailer for the first Suicide Squad was so good.
So good.
It actually tricked me into thinking it was going to be a good movie. I
true.
think it's still the worst DC movie.
It's the Academy Award winning DC film, too.
I do not care. It's the only one. Wait, it can't be the only one that's
in the DCEU.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, yeah, it's the Joker one.
Did it?
Right? So, yeah.
And Heath Ledger won as the Joker as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that's not DCEU.
Right. Matt, how do you feel about the Suicide Squad trailer?
It kind of looks like a throwback to like a 70s exploitation film. And it also like feels like the movie James Gunn would like do for Marvel.
Yeah.
If they're like, yeah, rated R, we don't care.
Yeah, it's going to be rated R, right? Because no, John Cena was talking about dicks in the trailer. It's definitely rated R.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's getting his own show. So
is he?
Yeah, he's getting his own spin-off Peacemaker.
Boy.
Yeah.
Boy. Definitely of the trailer, he did not seem like the character I wanted to see more of. I was just thought to myself, it's going to be really funny when he gets killed.
Nope.
Cena's a big actor now, though. So he's been in a lot of big titled stuff.
I haven't seen a single one of his movies.
I tried to watch.
Oh, I will watch the new Fast and Furious, though.
Blockers was good.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it, and I'm like, yeah.
I heard it was really good. Like, I saw like it had like crazy reviews, and I just kept thinking to myself, no, I'm not going to watch it.
It's fair. I'm trying to think what else he's been in. He was in I just feel like he's been in a lot of he was in Bumblebee, which he was actually pretty good in.
Yeah.
Well.
Didn't watch that either.
Bumblebee's good. Okay,
it's a great remake of Iron Giant.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Yeah.
And you're like a big Iron Giant fan. So
I love Iron Giant.
That's actually saying something. Wow. Okay.
Huh. Yeah. Cena's definitely been in a lot of stuff, and his time has finally come, even though he's in like a lot of like minor stuff. But a spin-off show, sure, whatever, I guess. I don't know anything about Peacemaker, so I don't really have any.
He's like an asshole, like Captain. He's basically like John Walker, but like even more of an asshole.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
U.S. agent.
Can't get into that. We got a whole other thing.
That's a whole thing. Let's not get into Falcon.
We should just talk about DC stuff. We're
not talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, even though I'm enjoying it so far. Let's just get a temperature check. Let's get a temperature check. Angus?
It's fine.
Yeah. Matt?
I would say fine as well, but I really enjoyed the second episode.
Yeah.
I've already forgotten what happened in the second episode.
It was a lot about John Walker.
Was it? Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes. Like, is it mind-blowing? No, but I'm enjoying my time, and I'm curious as to what's going to happen, I would say.
It would have been better for it if they did the original plan, which was for it to go first and then, like, WandaVision.
Yes. Yeah, I could actually see that. I could see that. I don't know. It's hard. WandaVision, there's a whole other thing, too. Like, the more I think about WandaVision, I think about it less as, like, a complete piece of art and more just, man, there were some really cool parts and ideas explored in there.
Yeah.
And
it's fresh, too, right? Like
And Winter Soldier, I'm just like, this feels like very Marvel-y.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with that too, and it's more grounded than like, used to have super soldiers and stuff like that, but it's more grounded than like magic and stuff, which is like nice.
They're getting into some stuff though. They're talking about some like pretty
they
touchy topics, and I'm like, yes, get into this, do it. Yeah, like let's talk about these things.
My last thing I'll say about Falcon and Winter Soldier is I really like, and we just said we weren't going to talk about this, but I'll just touch on this. Yeah. I really like just the continued world building of the MCU through the TV shows. I think like, what is a world post Captain America? How does like people treat the Falcon like a black superhero and stuff like that? I think these are like interesting ideas that we don't actually get to see in the movies. So
I think it's really a bummer that they're really set on calling it the blip. And I think that's a stupid name for it. I'm like, just call it the snap. That's what we all called it in real life. It's reasonable to assume you might call it that in the thing. I don't know. Anytime someone's like, it's like when the blip happened. And I'm like, that sounds stupid. Don't call it that.
It seemed more appropriate in Spider-Man because it's like, oh yeah, these are just dumb high
because they're like
schoolers
little
calling
children.
it.
Yeah.
No.
What if they called it the Nip? How would you feel there?
I'd be into it.
Not good about it.
Oh,
no.
okay. Matt's
No.
into it. Angus is not.
I'd be really into it. It'd be uncomfortable.
No, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. No, thank you.
All right. Well, does this leave a bad taste in your mouth? Black Widow coming to Disney Plus Premier Access.
It's another Marvel thing. Yeah, that's cool. Wait, do I have to pay extra to watch it?
Yes.
Then I'm not watching it.
Yeah, that's the. I always like to have this conversation because it is interesting how people view this Premier Access thing. It is releasing on theaters the exact same day. I mean, obviously, who knows what COVID's going to be like, right?
When's the release date, sorry?
June something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't be going to a theater in June. But yeah,
It's
I would
interesting.
rather go see it in theaters than pay more money on top
$30.
of a streaming service membership I already have.
Yeah.
Matt, do you feel the same there? Just wondering.
Yeah, I kind of like talked to some friends about it recently. Sorry. It's like it's pretty much the same as going with your girlfriend. Like, well, I'm a single man, and I'll go to a theater, and it'll cost me. I don't get popcorn normally unless it's like the Mayfair.
Oh
And,
yeah,
like,
gotta
that's the
get
best-
popcorn in the
yeah.
Mayfair.
I'll like smuggle in like M&Ms that I bought at the Dollarama,
Nice.
and
Very
then I'll
good.
watch like it there. Like, but like that only cost me $16. I'm not going to pay double
Yeah,
to watch it
right.
on my TV.
That's
But
tough
like
too.
Angus said, like on a service I already pay for,
Yeah, exactly. You already pay. Wait, how much does Disney Plus cost?
like
It's
$8.99.
the
I'm using
it's
my
the
sister's.
least out of all of them. I think.
Oh, it's cheap one. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought it
it's
was
the
cheap.
cheapest
$15.
Yeah, for
For
now.
now, with
Yeah, of
Star,
course.
they're going to
No.
Up
Netflix
a
is
bit.
like 15 and higher. It keeps climbing, that fucker.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm not watching a ton of stuff on Netflix these
Yeah,
days.
it's kind
It's
of
one of
a-
those ones I feel like everyone's just gonna have Netflix because they're like, well, you gotta have Netflix. It's
I
like,
know,
you
but it's starting to be like Netflix. Come on, calm down a
I've
little
been
bit.
using Amazon Prime a lot.
Yeah.
weirdly
Yeah.
enough, interface sucks, but good
Yeah.
library.
That's interesting. Yeah, I come from both sides with this whole paying for stuff. Like I don't like I would have paid for it at the theaters anyway. So like even
I
though I
wanted
pay
to
for a
see this one.
subscription service, like it doesn't bother me that I pay for a subscription service and I would pay for Premier Access because I would
Yeah.
pay for that at the theaters. And you know I don't have the big ass freaking screen like a IMAX theater would or the best sound system, but the freedom to pause and watch when I want, I do like that. And like we split. That's the key, right? So we have a family account essentially. So we split with like Laura's family as well. So we actually end up paying half that cost, which is the price of one movie ticket. So
Yeah.
like to me, it really doesn't bother me to go through it, that process. We've done it twice now with Mulan and Raya and the Last Dragon. Both times it was a fine experience. Like it
Yes,
doesn't bother me.
fine. I don't know if.
Yeah.
I think I would need a little bit more of a sure thing to spend some money on.
Well, that's
I
the thing.
don't know.
The
Yeah.
experience is like you see those movies early, right? And if you don't want to, then wait. Like it
I
doesn't
still
matter.
haven't seen Tenet.
Yeah, well, that's
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like the movie I was so sure I was going to see when I saw the trailers, and I just have no motivation really. I've been watching old movies. Like I don't know. I'm not even that. Like I don't know. I feel like Black Widow might be a bit of a dud. We'll see. I'm worried how much of it had to be done pandemic wise, because as we get to the movie we're about to talk about,
It was
but it
done.
was
very
it
clear
was
that
done.
this was.
Yeah,
Oh, it was done already. Okay.
it was
Yeah,
done.
it was ready
ready
to come out. It was ready to come out in like May. I think they were already doing like
May of last
interesting.
year. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
ready. It was all done. So they've been sitting on it and delaying it after over and over. And now this is when they finally said, "Hey, you know what? Like we should probably put this movie out."
Yeah.
Which is fine. Yeah.
My question has always been like, what's the metrics Disney's using to like this is a Premier Access, and this isn't like why it was like, and I'm happy I got it for free technically, except for like my subscription. Why was Soul not a Premier Access thing? It was
This is it's so Disney is like the overall company as we know. It's the head honcho,
Yeah.
but all of the Pixar movies have been coming out for free. So that just
but
to-
Raya wasn't Pixar. Raya was Disney.
Disney, yeah. So
I see.
to me, and Luca, the newest Pixar movie, is also coming for free as well. So this to me sounds like Pixar has like they're able to make a decision to be like, no, this is for free. This is where the disconnect's starting to happen, right? Where it's like, well, why does Pixar get to make these movies out for free,
Yeah.
and we have to pay for these other ones? It's a strange disconnect there.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things they are testing out to see if people do it, and if we all don't do it, they'll stop. I think. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if we keep paying for it, was like it's like pre-ordering games, or even like being okay with like day one DLC and stuff like that. It's just a thing. That's the gaming industry, but we as consumers basically told them we're okay with this.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to paying extra fees on top of a fee you already pay, that's where I start to say like, well, I'm not going to do this, and I hope other people don't do it, so that they can just be like, this is I'm not good at business and stuff like that, but I feel like, can't they just leverage this into like memberships? Like, okay, this is going to draw people in. That's the benefit we're going to get out of it. But
that's what HBO Max is doing.
It's just they're already like make the most money in the world. Like,
yeah,
just
but it's
all
like,
movies are you guys now.
Yeah,
so
well, Disney's kind of like, well, we didn't get to make
pandemic.
this much money last year, so we got to make up. Yeah, more money.
Ooh, yeah, everyone's suffering. You guys are suffering real hard because your movie didn't make the millions of dollars you were hoping for. Oh no!
Here's where I would like support it more, is if they're like, okay, we're taking all that money and we're gonna give it to the like employees of like the Disney parks that can't work right now.
Yeah, boom. I'd be into it. Honestly, I'd be into it. If they're like, or if they're like every single cent that you spend on Black Widow this summer goes to COVID like relief funds. Like, yeah, sure. And that's like a PR like win for them, isn't it? That's like a slam dunk. Just do that. Like, yes, you're not going to make,
smart.
You're not going to make like $300 million, but you will start to claw back some of the goodwill that you've gotten as one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's a weird one. I think I keep going back and forth between it, but I think at the end of the day, the way they're doing it right now makes the most sense, where it's just like, oh, if you want to see in theaters, you can, even though things are dicey right now. And it's on at home as well. So that seems like the best decision moving forward.
What do you think the gap's going to be between Black Widow comes out, you pay for it $30 or 6 months, and then you'll be able to just watch it for free?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
It was like that for Mulan too.
It's very possible that like, I don't know. It's very possible that like another one of the Marvel movies or another movie, maybe more likely just another movie would pull me in so that I want to spend that. Black Widow's not the one. And I don't think any of the next few Marvel ones are. I don't know. Maybe if the Doctor Strange trailer, if that trailer is like really, really crazy, then maybe I'll be like, shit, okay. Isn't Sam Raimi doing it now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Angus pulls out his wallet. He's like, how much do I pay?
He's like, it's secretly Spider-Man 4. Don't tell anyone. Tobey Maguire's back. I'll be like, yes.
Willem Dafoe's in it as well.
Willem Dafoe. Oh, guys, Dafoe. Can we talk about fucking...
Can we talk about the Snyder Cut?
Wait. Real quick about the Snyder Cut. I took notes and I broke them up based on the part of the chapter of the movie I was in. Did you guys do anything like that?
No.
You didn't take any notes, Barrow?
No, I just watched it.
Jesus Christ.
You're
a fucking professional.
Yeah.
What about you, Tuong? You took notes, surely? I took 3 pages of notes.
Angus, I take notes for all of my Talking Tongue episodes, and all of they're all like the notes that are like, it's just like quippy comments that I put in my notes that I like, why did I write it like this?
Mine is almost all of these they're all one line, and almost all of them are a question. What does Aquaman's sweater smell like? Is my second note about this movie.
All right, let's get into it then. It's a little bit of comic book talk off the top here, but we should really get into this because I feel like it might take a while. So here we go. We are talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League is the official title, aka the Snyder Cut.
You were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is.
We've talked about the Snyder Cut, I feel like every single week on Talking Tongue since the Snyder Cut was even announced. I was so not because I wanted it. It's just, it was always the top of the news story. It was just like, when is the Snyder Cut coming out? How much are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all these questions. Oh, they're filming a new scene for the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut's going to be rated R or whatever it is. The fuck, like it was just it was exhausting.
It rated R?
Yes.
It has a couple F-bombs in it.
Yeah.
Oh, Batman certainly says one.
But we'll get to the very last note I wrote was just, wow, Batman.
But anyways, it's finally here, and this thing is a long time coming. Hopefully, this is the last time we have to talk about it, but I have a feeling it's not. And it's just one of those things where the internet pooled together to say, "Hey, we want Zack Snyder to finish his vision," and then the seed sprouted and blossomed, and then it got in everyone's head, and then HBO Max was like, you know what, we can make a lot of money if we take the Snyder Cut, and that's a good way to sell our service to people. And they finally did it in a 4-hour and 2-minute movie, which was originally supposed to be split up into parts. I'm glad it was. Did you guys watch it all in one sitting?
Nope.
So, first question. Yeah. So Matt, Angus, you did?
I watched. Well, I mean, I took breaks to go to the bathroom, and I got up to walk around and just stretch my legs. But yeah, I watched it all in one day.
Wow.
I did it in parts. The parts that it gave me.
Interesting.
Wait,
not
so
all of them.
I
did 1, 2,
and then 3, 4,
4, and then
and then 5, 6 epilogue.
6. Then I think after I watched 1, 2, 4, then 6, and then 6 epilogue.
I can't help but feel that would make the movie seem worse. Oddly enough, I don't know, just because it's not like each part is a self-contained story. You know what I mean? It's not like an episode of a thing, right?
No, but each time it was it faded to black to bring up the thing, and it was almost like a to be continued.
Yeah, thing. That's true. Yeah.
It felt like it's not like a true end of a part, but it did seem like an end of I guess a chapter of a comic book, for example, where it's it's going to continue in just a second.
Should we go? Should we do some general thoughts and then go beat for beat? How do you want to organize this?
I have a way to do this. First, I will say for myself that I watched it not in one sitting. I saw it in 2 nights.
Okay.
So the first night I watched about an hour and a half of it. And then the second night I watched the rest of it with a couple breaks in between. And I don't think it took anything away from the experience by splitting it up a little bit. 4 hours is a long time to just hunker down and watch a movie. Unless it's Endgame, then I can watch 6 hours of it.
Exactly. Weirdly enough, you're just I can watch Endgame all day. Oh man.
Yeah. All right. So yes, this movie is split into 7 parts that Zack Snyder dubbed, and all the chapter titles are all kind of strange.
Bad.
Yeah.
After the first one, I was like, oh, these are all just lines of dialogue. These are all just things people are going to say. I don't know if they necessarily captured the tone of this part, but it is something someone will say.
Well, I was
wasn't the first one called "Come on, Batman" or something like that?
Don't count on it, Batman.
Don't count on it, Batman. That is.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with this. And I don't know if we need to go through every single part because I feel like that would take too long. Let's go with general feeler, or let's go with how did you like the first Justice League? We'll start with Matt. The OG Justice League with Joss Whedon.
Justice League.
Yes.
I defended it, but over the years, my defense was I was there were some good parts in it. I enjoyed some bits.
Yeah.
It's clearly cobbled together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a movie.
Yeah.
Angus?
I'll actually tell you that. So, because it came out in 2017, I saw it. I didn't think it was the worst one. I thought it was fine, maybe not great. I think accessing these memories again, I feel like I might have walked out of the theater and been like, man, thank God Joss Whedon was there to save that movie or something. And now I am totally on the other side of that. Zack Snyder's vision, much more consistent, obviously, because another person didn't come in and change it. So say what you will, good or bad, about the new Justice League. It is certainly more consistent tonally than the original cut, the theatrical cut we got.
I felt as though the Justice Whedon cut.
Okay, I hate this.
Justice Whedon. Yep.
Justice Whedon League. I felt as though that one also it was parts of Zack, parts of like Joss, and then like the studio.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas this was just all just all like Snyder.
Yeah,
Right.
it felt like he kind of got to make the movie he wants to make, which is because I have such a conflicted relationship with Zack Snyder movies. I always seem to like love them when I was like it seems like I loved all of his movies when I was like 13 to 18, and now I'm kind of like, yeah, it's fine. Like, yeah, Watchmen, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the other one? 300. Yeah,
300. I remember liking 300.
I loved those. I loved both those movies,
Yeah.
and I haven't watched either one of them in like a decade. But I'm curious. I don't know if they would hold up. I don't think they would, unfortunately.
So we've talked about this before on the show, but for people who don't know, and this is your first time tuning into the Snyder
Lucky
Cut
you,
conversations, Zack Snyder was not able to finish the original Justice League because of a terrible tragedy in his family. So Joss Whedon took the reins and finished the theatrical cut of Justice League, which in my opinion, I also watched it and I came out being like, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And I felt the same. Like I was like, the action scenes are really good. It's a lot less moody and
really
I had
good jokes.
Yeah, this is really funny. Or this is like Superman was acting like the Superman that I knew a little bit more,
yeah,
right?
he felt a little bit more like,
more was a Boy Scout kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Which we don't actually get in this movie.
No, not at all. Just kind of an asshole a little bit.
Yeah. So I remember coming out liking it, but I also only seen it one time. And I never had the opinion, like wanting to go back to it.
It was not good enough for a rewatch. Certainly, it was like, I'm not wasting my time with this again. And I will say, like the Justice League, the theatrical cut. I heard someone kind of rationalize it this way on the internet, and I'm just going to kind of steal that from them. I think it was Nando V Movies on YouTube, but all the Marvel movies all have like a big moment, like I'm always angry, Vision lifting the hammer, like all the Marvel movies. Those are just Avengers movies, but all the Marvel movies have like a big moment, and Justice League did not. Like it didn't have the theatrical cut. The theatrical cut did not have a big moment for a character that you kind of like that hangs in your head. This one had like 4, I think.
Yeah, for each hour.
Yeah, it was kind of like one each hour, and they vary in success. Like they didn't all work for me, and we'll get into that. But it felt like it was more. I don't know. It felt like it was paying off on more of the things that they had set up, whereas the theatrical cut was kind of just like, fuck, make it a movie.
It's so interesting, the differences between the two, which we will get into.
It's better, right? Can we at least say that the
let's talk
Snyder
about
cut is better?
Yeah. I also didn't like it now, like looking back, was like Whedon going like, oh, I'm just coming in and patching, like tweaking my good buddy Zack Snyder's movie. I'm gonna like go by his vision though.
It actually makes me like seeing the Snyder cut makes me hate the original cut more. Does that make sense? Because you see what they were. Because I guarantee, I'm sure the Snyder cut involves some corrections to notes that were made on the original. You know what I mean? Like they benefited definitely from that first one coming out, I think. But it definitely feels like a better movie. And it's one of those things where like I if I see comparisons now, because I've seen people kind of break down, they're like, this was in this version and not this version. And I'm kind of like, yeah, very seldomly. I think there are 2 things that I wish were from the Whedon cut that were still in it, but that's about it.
You mean the part where Superman's mustache was not there, or when he somehow goes and says, "Tell me, do you bleed?" He says that.
Isn't that from Batman versus Superman?
No, he says it again in OG.
I know, because I know Batman has a joke where he's like, something's definitely bleeding.
Well, because
in the Whedon cut,
in BVS, like, Batman says it to Superman.
Yes.
And then in Justice League, the Joss Whedon one, Superman says it back to Batman, but it's like,
does he? That's stupid. Doesn't make any sense. He's human. He bleeds. All humans do. It's the thing we all do.
It doesn't make any
fucking
sense.
Idiot.
The first words that he can like think of now that he's reborn. It's like,
oh, interesting.
And he doesn't even know what it means. It's like it's what's in his mind.
You see the person and you're like, wait, I remember you said this to me before I got killed. Yeah, I mean. Maybe the original cut did a better job of rationalizing why, as soon as he wakes up, he wants to fight everybody. just one of those things I didn't worry about in the Snyder Cut. Like, yeah, he's got to fight everybody for a few minutes and then he'll be a good guy again.
Yeah.
But no, the moment that I liked from the original one that wasn't in this one was when the Flash is like really nervous to go into battle. And he's like, I've never done battle before. And Batman's like, just save one person and then do that again. And then do that. Like he said something along those lines. And I thought it was a really good moment. And I kind of kept waiting for it because it was probably my favorite like line. It was the only bit of the theatrical cut that like gave me goosebumps, where I was like, oh, that is like a good way to calm somebody down when they've got like, you know, a job to do and save people.
Very
like
superhero-y and comic to like add a line like that.
Yeah, and it just wasn't there at all in the theatrical cut, and you know, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Okay, here we go.
Right.
Let's do it. How do we even?
All right. My first note is Jesse Eisenberg is not standing in water. The effects that's something I had to. That's something I took. I just kind of took for granted, or not. I just accepted it at the beginning. Was the effects in this movie are going to be inconsistent because they kind of crammed this thing. Like, do we know how long they worked on the Snyder Cut?
Like about a year.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, then it looks good, but like, yeah, like. The visuals are fairly inconsistent.
They are also better than they were in the original Justice League.
Steppenwolf looks way better. Way better. And he's just a way better character in this movie. He actually has motivation, and you kind of like, I kind of felt bad for him. I felt like the Justice League was like, when they like fuck him up at the end.
Yep.
I was like, this seems excessive. Aren't you the good guys?
Yeah, they really fuck him up good.
They fuck him up. He gets like I mean, yeah. I just wish. Yeah, I don't know.
So I will agree that he looks better than
definitely
that. But I would have, looking back at this and like remembering what he looks like in the comic books, I would have preferred. He looks human in the comics.
Yeah,
right.
He's like a dude with a goatee, right?
Yeah, he's got a goatee. He's got like he wears a green outfit. And he's like certainly Superman like strength, but like he's not kind of a weird dark side-ish creature.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was one of Darkseid's like
he's his
species.
uncle.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I did not remember that. And I that's probably the thing that I don't like about the Snyder verse in particular, and maybe I'm skipping ahead, but I think that the whole Snyder vision is so bloated with first of all, I think even this movie, even though it explains a lot of stuff, it has so many concepts it's trying to introduce to the layman audience. And as someone who's read the comics and it's been a while, even I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
I haven't read any comics in probably a year or two now, but I'm just like, or maybe not, definitely not any Western comics, but like, oh yeah, okay. Like, okay. Why the hell is Martian Manhunter in this movie?
I mean, my big question is, what do you mean? Why isn't he in it more?
Okay, because so he shows up twice. I think we're both in
the same spot, and like you're like, where it's like, if you're gonna use him, why not use him?
Yeah, the movie is already 4 hours, so you start to see where I'm like, if he's not important, cut it. But like, there's a bunch of things they could have, like the whole really minor subplot about the plane wanting to fly, not needed. Cut that out. Why they already have a problem, like. An intergalactic demon has come to Earth to find world-destroying boxes. Don't worry about, like, you don't need a subplot where the plane won't fly. It's sad,
but then
we need to give it but then it does. but also he fixes it not on camera, so who fucking cares?
Yeah,
right. Like, okay. Wait. So Ma Kent comes to poor Lois Lane, who is just sad this entire movie, except for I guess when she's happy. But I have three different notes across the first 3 parts of this movie where it's just like Lois is sad. Lois is still sad, Lois, which makes sense. You know, she's sad. But
Superman died. She's sad.
She loves Superman.
Okay, and I agree. And I actually thought it was a really good idea to have a scene where it was like, look, these two people, this is Ma Kent and this is Lois Lane, and they're both kind of reminiscing over this person who is such a pillar in their life, this person they cared so much about, and loved so truly and dearly, and they're the only two people in the world who share this very unique sadness. And she even says that. She's like, everyone else knew him as Superman, but you and I knew the real him. We're the only ones that knew the real him. Something along those lines. And then she leaves the room and turns back into Martian fucking Manhunter. So what the fuck?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Like,
well, the idea was to motivate her to start like picking herself. Well, I'm not going to defend his. I think this is what he was going for.
That. Yeah, come back to the land of the living. It was all good stuff. It's all good stuff. It all makes perfect sense.
Does it have to be Martian Manhunter? No.
no. And then he turns into that general, and I'm like, okay, so that general is Martian Manhunter this whole time, I guess. Yeah. And then he just shows up at the very end of the movie to be like, oh, by the way, my name's Martian Manhunter, and I'm here on Earth. See you later.
Yeah. Well, basically he's saying, I can't sit idly by anymore. It's like, dude, you're so strong. You should have fought Steppenwolf.
Is he strong? Is John Jones?
He's like
right?
Superman level. Like he's like Superman level strength.
Okay.
Flight speed. And he can like shapeshift, and he like can read minds and phase through things.
I thought he was. So he's like the Vision. I thought he was like like a detective, like Batman.
He can also do that too.
Yeah. He's incredibly strong. The only thing is he's weak against fire.
Fire. Yeah.
Very weak against fire. So
okay.
Probably wouldn't have done too well against Steppenwolf in many cases.
Yeah.
But
I did.
Yeah. So like, I just think for myself, as a grand scale, I like this movie because Zack Snyder was able to execute his vision. And I do like that for any artist out there to be able to like freely just do it. I think that's cool on one level. But then the other level is just like, Zack, why didn't you make a movie that's a little bit more accessible to people? Because I can't imagine like Laura watching Snydercut and having any inkling of idea what's happening, because you're introducing like you're introducing the Flash in this movie, Aquaman in this movie, a bunch of side characters, Cyborg, Mother Boxes, Steppenwolf, Darkseid, the anti-life equation. Like, what is happening?
Long-haired Willem Dafoe.
Like, there's just too much happening, and that to me it feels like it's on the assumption that everybody has read any type of DC comic.
Has anyone asked you guys after you watched this? Sorry, real quick. After you watched this and you maybe told people that you watched it, did anyone ask you if you thought they should watch it? Do you know what I mean? Like I said to a couple friends, I was like, oh yeah, so I watched the Snyder Cut the other day, and they all asked, they're like, should we watch it? and it's such a complicated question for me. I feel like if you didn't see the theatrical cut, there's no point in watching this new one.
Interesting. Yeah.
Maybe not no point, but like the biggest good thing I got out of this movie was they took a movie that was bad and made it better. It's 4 hours long, but it is technically better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone who hasn't seen the other DCEU movies, you know?
Right. I would say if you're like really into Snyder's vision for like,
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think I have many friends who are big Snyder heads, but I get what you mean. Yeah. That would totally, if someone was into Snyder, then this preserves his vision.
To people who like, first of all, you have to like superhero type stuff, obviously, even though this is very moody. But I think I would recommend to the people who want like on a movie nerd spectrum, I needed to see this movie because it is like a very unique thing that's never really happened before, where the internet kind of bullied its way into getting Zack Snyder's vision to come true. That's never really happened before.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting on an academic level, and which is why I was just like, I need to see what the hell this is. And I'm glad I watched it because of that.
So, oh man. God. It's just, I'm sorry. I'm looking through some of my notes. Just like, oh God. The noise the boom tubes make, the boom tubes, that's how they travel, right?
Yeah, boom tubes.
They sound ridiculous. It sounds like a kid's toy when it's like, it's bad. It's a bad sound effect. They should have spent a bit more time on this. Long hair Willem Dafoe fucks. Definitely wrote that down.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote down, is Gal Gadot a good actor? And then after that wrote, I don't think so.
But I will say, let's talk about the because the intro of this movie is a lot different too than the intro.
I was surprised because I thought the song was like in the first one. It's like the song is like Everybody Knows or something like that. And I thought that was like a Snyder ass like decision. But this version, it was like, no song, just Henry Cavill screaming till he dies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it ripples throughout the rest of the world.
I do have 2 back-to-back notes at some point. This is so like, what does Aquaman's sweater smell like? When he gets into the water, they like start the like Nordic people start like singing a song. I was like, oh, this song is really. So I wrote down like, this song is long, and then after that I wrote, how much of this movie will be a music video, and then I wrote, how much of this movie is going to be in slow mo. I revisit that thought a couple times where I'm like,
10%.
A lot
10%.
of it, and then I get Superman comes back, and I'm like, oh, is Superman going to get a music video? He does not, sadly.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay. I just want to throw it because I don't know when these would fit in. I just want to throw out a couple props out there to a couple actors who I thought were really good in this movie. Joe Morton, they brought him back. He's Silas. He's Victor's dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Joe Morton, amazing, great. They get their money's worth with him. They brought him back. I think he was extensive reshoots. I bet is my guess. He's in a lot of the scenes. He's great.
Yeah.
He's awesome. And I would also say Billy Crudup, who plays the Flash's dad, was also very good.
Recast for the next Flash movie too, though.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, is he like a dirtbag or something? He was really good. I'm like, he seems like a hippie dad. I don't know. He seems like a good, because he's talking to his son. He's like, man, get out of here. Don't waste your life trying to help this old fart. And just like, yeah, I'm like, he's great. He's good.
The amount of that's the one thing I really noticed with this movie is like the amount of star power they have in this movie is actually ridiculous. Like
Gordon, J.K. Simmons. I was
J.K.
like, Gordon.
Simmons?
I wrote it down. I'm like, Gordon gets jokes. Why? Because Gordon gets a couple of jokes in there. Like, no, thank you.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, I don't know. Batman looked puffy and bloated the whole movie. It was really embarrassing. It was a bad. Yeah. The Batman suit looked real bad in the daytime.
Yeah,
it was not good.
It looked real bad in the daytime. It's like, don't. And Steppenwolf looked bad in the daytime. Oh man.
Do you guys
Wonder Woman
feel
theme is still a banger?
Do you guys feel as though this movie would have benefited from having more time to build up to? Like, it does feel like this movie.
How do you mean?
So I would say this is what I'm thinking.
Like a longer
take out the
movie?
Cyborg stuff, take out the Flash stuff, put them in their own movies.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because that's what it is. It's like
Oh, I see. What you mean.
it's bloated because he gave like 40 minutes of like movie time to some characters that should have had their own movies before this.
I agree, but they're the like. I don't think you could. Like, if you cut Cyborg out of this movie, you're rewriting the whole movie. He is like basically. I've heard people kind of describe Batman as the protagonist of the movie. I would say Cyborg's the protagonist
in this version.
If you had to pick
yeah.
one of them, certainly him. I don't know. He like follows the hero's journey like specifically.
I'm not saying
throughout the whole movie.
I'm not saying take him out. I'm just saying like they could have developed his character. Like there was a lot of development on his character in this movie.
Yeah.
Which they could have just done in another movie.
If we
look
at the success of like the Marvel stuff, it seems like you establish a couple characters, then you do the team up movie, and the team up movie introduces a couple more, like your Hawkeyes and your, whoever else got introduced in that. I think it makes sense to have this movie have extended portions for Cyborg, which work, and for the Flash that don't work. That car crash, can we talk about that? But I think it makes sense. You give them the lion's share of like development because you already know who Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are. But I don't know.
But but I would go to what Matt said here. I really think they could have benefited by pushing Justice League out, because it felt like they were just rushing towards their version of Avengers.
Yeah.
And it's just
absolutely.
like, even this Bat flick, like we really, even in BVS, you don't get enough of Batman to really understand him that well, or even root for him.
They don't even really explain why he kills. Like I'm okay, I guess, in concept with a Batman that kills people, but maybe you should explain why.
Well,
did he try not killing people for a little bit, and then like he got disillusioned and he's like, oh, guns are actually really sick. All my weapons should be kill weapons. Every gadget he uses is a weapon in the movie, except for the grappling hook, and he uses it as a weapon. So it's like, oh, you're Batman. Like I thought you were better than this.
Sure,
it does kill a lot of people, or parademons, I guess, but still.
Well, I mean, they're parademons.
He has no problem with killing parademons.
I don't think so.
So Batman, and I don't read a ton of his comics. If Batman, let's say, was presented with a dinosaur in Gotham City, a real flesh and blood dinosaur, would he kill it?
It's an animal?
Yeah. So he'll kill animals. He just draws the line.
Parademons are kind of like animals. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they just look stupid in this movie. That's
Yeah.
I thought they looked better in this one, don't they?
Yeah, well, I just mean,
they have like the little claw arms underneath.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. They don't look great.
Well, the CG just looks like overpowering.
I was looking at my notes, and this is part 6 after Superman gets revived, and they meet Alfred, and I was like, have they not met Alfred before? Because Wonder Woman definitely had.
Yeah.
That was a weird scene. And then they're talking about the team, and Batman references fighting Steppenwolf again. They're like, why do you think we can beat him? And he's like, because he's never fought us. And I wrote underneath that, yeah, he has. Like 3 parts ago, he fought them. This movie, sorry, there's a massive plot hole in this movie. Did you guys notice that?
No.
There's a massive plot hole in this movie, or I didn't understand what they were going for. So they show that flashback, right? The one that was originally Steppenwolf. In the original cut, it was Steppenwolf coming to Earth, and like the Amazonians, the Atlanteans, the humans, a Green Lantern, they all team up to kind of beat him back, and that's how the mother boxes end up on Earth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So they, in a good idea, they reused that scene, but they just put Darkseid in. They kind of just paste Darkseid over Steppenwolf, which is a good idea. So he comes to Earth, he tries to take it, and then loses the 3 mother boxes here, right?
Yeah.
Leaves, runs away, sends Steppenwolf there because the 3 mother boxes are there. They know the 3 mother boxes are there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When Buddy finds out that the like anti-life equation is also on Earth, he's like, wait a second, this is the planet. And then he's talking to that like molten communication system, which I really liked. Very edgy. He's talking to that guy. What's the guy's name?
Desaad.
So he's talking to Desaad, and they're like, don't you get it? This is the planet where he was beaten back. And like, this is where the anti-life equation. You fucking should already know that. Fucking Desaad looks at him and says, I know the story of his loss, blah, 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 better than most. So you should fucking know that it took place here, the planet that you came to. Like, do you guys get what I mean? Like, it didn't make any sense. They knew the boxes were there. They came for the boxes. They lost the boxes on this planet. They knew the anti-life equation was on the planet where they lost the boxes. How did they not put that together sooner? It seems like it's not subtext, it's text. It's right in your face.
They were there now.
Yes.
Because there was always somebody like to protect, like.
Yeah. They lost the mother boxes.
But now that I'm saying it, that's wildly, because like there were for centuries.
Yes, before a Kryptonian got there. Yeah. Maybe there were lanterns, or maybe the Amazonians were, because everyone was still working together. Maybe don't worry. But like, I don't understand how those two, like the 2 big events are both on the same planet. You know, they took place on the same planet.
Yeah.
You get there because you're trying to reclaim one of the lost items from one of those big events. And you're like, oh, hey, that other thing happened here too. Fuck yeah, of course it did. You knew that already.
That's blah. I agree. Yes, I don't really understand that too.
I'm a crazy person.
But I'm saying like, kind of going back to like why it's bloated is because there's 2 like big MacGuffins in this movie. You have like anti-life equation and mother boxes, and it's
thank you. You didn't need both those.
You don't need
the
both.
anti-life equation is more of a MacGuffin.
Yeah, that's
their trilogy.
Their gauntlet, right? Yeah, I get it.
But it just makes Steppenwolf's journey, even though it's better in this movie than the OG, it's like it makes his journey a little less like meh.
Oh,
because you have Darkseid.
Are the mother boxes destroyed at the end? Because they separate the 3 of them, they drop down to the ground, they look like they're inert again, or they're sleeping, and then they're gone. You don't see them again. And then a few lines later, someone's like, the mother boxes are destroyed now. And it's just like, no, they are. I don't think they are.
We didn't see them. Destroy them off camera, Bruce? Like,
or did separating them destroy them? Like they didn't?
No, because that didn't happen last time.
Yeah, exactly, right? So like I don't get how they... Oh, also 40 minutes left in the movie, and I just noticed Steppenwolf has extra fingers. Did you guys notice that? He's got 4 fingers. He's got like 2 thumbs on one side and 2 thumbs on the other side. was like, that's a fucking cool.
That's a
hand.
cool choice.
Yeah,
I like his armor that kind of goes in and out, and for some reason he gets half naked when he goes to see Dark.
Oh, that was weird. Well, he gets his armor like blasted off. I did like that though, because I kind of liked it. Like it was like constantly like moving and stuff, and I was like, oh, if someone tried to tie him up with a lasso, his armor could probably just like cut it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It constantly looked like he was like wearing scissors and stuff. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
they go real heavy.
Oh, go ahead. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop it there because I'm going to let's. We're all over the place right now.
Yeah.
Let's get back.
Do you want to go start to finish?
No, because that would already take too long. Let's talk about some. Like, what did you guys think about the action in this movie? Did it satisfy you? Because they definitely added more action in this movie than in the original one. So
I watched it a little while ago. And nothing's really coming to mind except for how bad the Batman stuff looked at the end. He's kind of like doing a lot of shoulder rolls and shooting guys with guns and stuff. And he's wearing like he's wearing like a rubber suit. It doesn't look right. I really can't think. The sequence with the Amazonian mother box is pretty good.
It is good. I think that's like probably the best action.
I think so. I think it is specifically the part where they're playing keep away with it, where it's out of the thing, and they just got to keep it away from them. There's some really fun ideas there. I
like that because they all kind of go down with the ship.
I had one note where I was like, 6 wooden pillars were holding up all that, because like you get that the chamber would collapse, but then also the mountain underneath them collapsed.
They're really strong pillars.
They're really well placed as well.
They're evidently not really strong pillars because you just get 6 like super jacked ladies to hit them.
They're
with
really
hammers,
jacked.
And
up.
the whole I loved it. It was great. But yeah, it was. Oh man,
Matt, how about you? Did you find any action scenes that stood out to you?
Now I'm really thinking about it. No.
Yeah.
No.
I would say like I still like. Because in the original theatrical one, I still liked when Superman came out and the whole Justice League have to fight him for a few minutes. I think that's still fun. And I really like, even though I have problems with Ezra Miller's Flash, I think Barry Allen he feels like more like a Wally West in this movie than a Barry Allen.
Okay. I don't know the Flash. I was going to ask you guys about him.
But I did like when Superman, like when Flash is like zipping by and Superman's eyes follow, which is in the OG theatrical cut. I think that's a fun idea where he can keep up with the Flash in that way.
Yeah. They all seem super fast. I had a note early on. I'm like, wow, Wonder Woman is hella fast when she's protecting the people in the bank robbery, which
I like that.
Okay. So there's a couple, I get it. It's a 4-hour movie, 4 hours and 2 minutes. That's a lot of footage to go over. There was a lot of stuff that I noticed that seemed like small editing mistakes. Like in the bank robbery scene, they cut from like a shot of one of the girls, the little girls, to like the bad guy putting his gun down on the table and then walking away from it, as the like hundreds of movies before then have taught us that the language that means is that little girl's going to go for that gun. Like, and it just doesn't happen. Obviously, he picks it up a moment later. And there was another one with the collapsing of the Amazonian temple that has it has Steppenwolf and it has the mother box in it. It crumbles and the whole cliff falls. And I forget the Amazonian leader watching them. I forget what her name was. She's looking down the cliff, and then it cuts to a shot of her looking up really quickly, and then it cuts to a wide shot of Steppenwolf flying up from below above her. It's just like a couple shots like out of order, and they don't communicate what you're trying to communicate. Like, she should have looked up after he flew above her. Like, why would she look up before he got there? You know what I mean?
Anticipating him flying.
Disagree. it's just 2 shots that should have been swapped, and I found lots of little things like that. But
how did you okay, so we talked a little bit about the action and how like maybe it doesn't stand out as much. I did like some of it though. Like it was
what was your favorite action moment?
Like all of the Amazonian stuff I think was really well done. They definitely paid a lot of like attention to Wonder Woman, because this came out after Wonder Woman, so they're like, hey, let's give a lot of cool action shit to Wonder Woman, which I think they did. All the fight scenes were good enough. Even like the last one against Steppenwolf was like, this is fine. Even and they eviscerate him. They chop off his head.
They do fight more like a team at the end. That's nice, because I feel like in the Whedon cut, they're a team and they all just go fight a bunch of one-on-one fights at the At the end, they're just all fighting Steppenwolf 101 until Superman comes and beats him up. But
Yeah.
it feels like they really do it. Like, it feels like Superman still could have done it on his own, but at least it feels like they work together somewhat.
Yeah, there was like more of like, because yeah, you're right. It's like they were just kind of holding Steppenwolf till Superman came, and they're like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
Good luck, Superman.
And then it's like Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's like okay, Goku's here. We'll be fine.
But in this one, it's like Superman punches, and then I think Batman does a thing, and then Wonder Woman chops his head off.
No. So he gets punched by Superman. He gets impaled on the
by
trident.
Aquaman.
By Aquaman. And then Aquaman kind of flings him through the portal off his trident. And as he's flying, Wonder Woman cuts his head off. And I was kind of like, wow, this seems like I just wrote down, damn, he got fucked up.
It was kind of cool though.
This was a note I wrote down just really quickly about the Amazonians and the Atlanteans and the humans. I just wrote down, why isn't anyone else helping? Like, so, the Atlanteans know that the end of the world is coming. The Amazonians know that the end of the world is coming. Why aren't they doing anything?
I also had a similar question because like there is no Green Lantern. You're like, why isn't there?
Yeah,
like there was one before. Like,
yeah, I mean,
sure, you don't want to like introduce Hal or like John or anything, but where's like Abin Sur or like there should always be a
Did Earth have a protector? Okay, Earth always has it. Okay.
This is kind of going to the idea of like all these Snyder's universe is just weird, man, because it just assumes like that you know what's going on in this universe already, which you don't. It just skips so much stuff ahead, and you have to just make a bunch of like your own.
It also introduced
ideas.
a version of the Atom too.
Yeah, right. So we got Ryan Choi. Yeah,
is that who that was?
He's the second Atom after Ray Palmer.
I don't know who the Atom is. He's the guy that took over after Joe Morton's character died.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Atom's like Ant-Man, I guess. Like he,
except for a more subatomic level.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He can shrink and kick ass. And he's very smart.
I kind of just assumed he was like a Chinese actor because they wanted to sell in China, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah, because like what was it? The Avengers did the same thing. Like Avengers Ultron, particularly, had like an extended sequence in, I think it was China, that they cut out for Western releases. It's just a thing they do for.
That may have been the case, but then they're like, that may have been the case, but maybe it also been like, and you know what? We'll make him the Atom. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I thought it was cool. Yeah.
I want to talk about so this movie. Ray Fisher has had a huge saga, which we won't get too much into with Joss Whedon, but basically mistreated, and there's a lot of politics and bad stuff that happened to him in the background. Seems like Joss Whedon is a bad person. Regardless,
seems like it.
Cyborg gets a much bigger arc in this movie than he ever did in the Joss Whedon cut, and I'd like to hear how that like played out for you guys. Like, did you enjoy his arc in this movie?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was really good.
The one thing, so I really liked the sequence where he like visualizes a bunch of people's bank accounts, and there visualizes like stacks of money and coins and stuff like that. And then he like watches someone's life, and then he expands their bank account because they deserve money.
Oh my God, that sequence is so long though.
Okay, here, so here's the thing. It's very long. It's very long. I was into it. And then it gets to the part where he's standing in the rain and he's watching this woman and her child receive the 100,000 he gave them. Did he give them $1 million, 100? He gave them some money.
A lot of money. It was a lot of money.
It's like 100. Yeah. So he gives them the money, and then it's revealed he's standing like 4 or 5 feet away from these two people. And then it's revealed that other people standing around start staring at him. So I was like, holy shit, I thought this was like an artistic representation of him watching someone through the net. But it's like, no, he was actually just standing there next to the ATM with this big ass fucking glowing eye. And this lady didn't notice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was overall, I really liked the cyborg stuff. I thought it was good. And like I said, with the Joe Morton stuff, it's the best like part of the movie.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely who is it? Well, Snyder said that Cyborg is the heart of the movie, and I see that. Like, he's definitely more important than Batman or Superman in this movie. So yeah, I would agree. Although I just don't love. This probably goes to what I don't like about the Snyder stuff is that everything's so freaking serious. And Cyborg is not fun whatsoever.
I don't know Cyborg beyond like the Teen Titans show when I was a kid, the original one, and like he joked in that and stuff like that, and he wasn't sad all the time.
That was another thing. Like
what? Is he normally? What's he like in the comics?
From what I can tell, I don't like, because I only read the Justice League books, and he's in them now. But he seems to be like not as serious as he was in this. Not like nobody is as serious as they are in the Snyderverse.
They were all pretty serious. Like I remember Aquaman being kind of jokey. They were all jokey in the Whedon cut, but like coming back to like the serious cut, I was like, shit, maybe you should have left a couple of them jokey. Like Aquaman can get jokes, I think. I think Aquaman can do jokes. And honestly, I don't know why. I've never read an Aquaman comic. I've never been a fan of the character before. But for some reason, Momoa works for me. I watch him and I'm like, yeah, okay, he's Aquaman. He's like a surfer, kind of like bro-y dude.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, he's Aquaman. Okay,
so
great.
my ideas are like, I've read some of his comics, like when Jeff Johns came on to writing him. But I also watched Batman Brave and the Bold, where it's like he's in it, and he's done by like John DiMaggio, and he's like just like this big bombastic style hero type that like names each adventure as they're doing it.
Like a dweeb. Oh man.
Yeah, so for like Cyborg, from what I've seen, like he's definitely jokey in Teen Titans, and from Justice League comics and from like Injustice and things like that, there's definitely different layers of like him being jokey, him being serious and stuff. It's just like in this one, he's just so, even though he's the heart of this movie, it's just I wish he had a little bit more. He wasn't just such a downer all the time. I guess he's such a bummer. Yeah. And Aquaman stuff, like I agree, like he's like the Aquaman movie's fine. Like I think it's terrible dialogue, but it's a fun enough adventure, I think. But
as a complete movie, it works better than a few of them.
Yeah, I just think the jokes, even they try for some jokes in this movie, and I don't even think they do a great job with landing those jokes.
No, they don't. The jokes that worked were in the Whedon cut, and I think when you go back to the Snyder vision, you're cutting out all the jokes that worked. Honestly, I don't remember any. I didn't write down any jokes that like, I did write down one, but it's from a scene I did not like. I wrote down pocket dog for the road. I did kind of chuckle when the Flash pulls a hot dog out of the air and puts it in his pocket for later.
Yeah, that's good.
Good. But
he's not terrible. Like Ezra Miller's not my Barry Allen.
About the Flash?
Yeah. So Ezra Miller's not my, like, I don't picture him as Barry Allen, but he does have some good moments where I'm like, okay, that's the Barry I know, when he's like starting to become a little bit more heroic, or when he's talking a little bit more about like a science and things like that. Like that's to me is Barry Allen, but not this like kid who's just like, ooh, the Justice League.
He's like he reminded me a bit of like the manic pixie dream boy, like archetype, where he's just like he just seemed like he was weird for the sake of being weird, and it wasn't like his weirdness that made him exceptional. You know, it just kind of like he's just an odd guy.
Did Barry become homeless once his father like was put away in prison for murdering his mom? Like,
I think
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what age he would have been.
They don't say in this
he's got to be over. He's not a kid, and he's over 18, right?
In the comics, he was a child when it happened.
No, but like in this movie, he's an adult now at this point, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he probably just had the whole like sad foster home to foster home thing, and now he lives in like a massive garage that looks really comfortable and nice. Full of TVs.
Well, it even looks like he doesn't pay rent. It just kind of seems like he's just like he found this garage that he's just living in.
I did not like his suit in the Whedon cut, the Flash suit. I thought it looked real dumb.
Did they change it for this one?
They didn't change it, but I'll tell you what, I think they shoot it in a better way for this one. So like he's got those like weird like wires all over his suit.
Stuff,
Well, he's got the armor, right? But then he's got these like wires over top of that seemed to like hold it together.
Yeah.
I thought it looked really bad in the Whedon cut. In this cut, I noticed more that like when he moves, those wires actually stretch. They're like bungee cords.
Oh, I see.
And it's got more give to it. I don't know. I think maybe they just shot it a bit. They just shot him
I think just overall the effects just look better, right? Like you don't get this like when I think of the Justice League,
Cyborg looks better.
Yeah,
Steppenwolf definitely looks better, and they redesigned him almost from the ground up.
I just think of like the OG Justice League with it's just red background. That's all I picture is like the final fight is just like a sea of red, where this is like, oh, it's just nighttime. This makes way more sense.
Yeah, when I saw that, I remember them that was kind of one of the ones where it was clear that Whedon, maybe it was an IGN article or something like that. It was clear that Whedon was taking like making big changes to like the climax, like the big battle in Russia. And he like adds that family. He adds that Russian family, which I was super glad. I didn't realize. At a certain point I realized, they weren't there in the Snyder Cut. Like they're clearly not going to use them. And I didn't realize until that moment. I was like, oh no, that's better. Do it that way. Don't have this stupid thing. Like have him participate.
This is a good lead in too to more Flash stuff, because Flash gets his big moment, which I think works for this movie. Like
I liked what they were going for. It didn't work for me, but I do like what they were going for.
I was like, Superman won.
I didn't get. Yeah, I kind of thought it felt very Superman 1 a little bit in Turning Back Time, but it didn't like. They maybe could have had one or two more beats, like setting up that's a thing. He kind of just says once really quick in his like fast talking way, I'm not supposed to go faster than the speed of light. That's one rule I don't break. And he says that like 3 hours before he does it. I think maybe the mother box resurrecting Superman worked way better in this version. You know what I mean? That moment, they make it really clear, because it starts to get really tense where everyone starts having second thoughts, and Batman's just kind of being like, just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. You just do it. Cowards, do it. Yeah.
You listen to me. I'm Batman.
Shut the fuck up.
If you betray what I just said, you could still beat me up, but I'm Batman.
Yeah, I'm Batman. Just fucking do it.
But you're right. It does work better. Because I remember,
really well for me.
I remember it was really stupid in the Whedon cut, because I'm like, wait, this just seems like a reason to just make the Flash go really quickly, and I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. There's this whole like, this might not be there's this doubt of like, might not be the right thing to do. But with him running back to like, also I don't know where he is. It's not like he's on Earth running back. Like he seems to be like killed, and he's like in the afterlife running. You know what I mean? Like, where is he? What is he?
What do you mean? Like at the very end of the movie?
So at the very end, the mother boxes connect, they synchronize, right? And everybody on Earth gets destroyed briefly.
Yeah.
But it happens. Everyone gets disintegrated. I guess he like flicks his arm up really quick and just does he just do that so he starts moving so quickly that it doesn't affect him anymore? Or does he get killed and is running back from the afterlife? Like what is happening here? Like, explain it to me, I guess. What's happening?
I think he moved quick enough to avoid death.
Okay, gotcha. Because he does like flick his arm as soon as he sees the thing like coming at him.
Yeah,
so that's kind of what I.
So he flicks his arm, he enters the Speed Force, and then he runs so quick he turns back time, and I think that just to me that makes a little bit more, it gives him a good arc in the movie for what it is.
He gets a cool moment for sure. Easily.
And then like in the other one, it's just like, he saves one Russian family, which is like way less impressive than what happens in here.
And even like just to touch back briefly, sorry, Matthew, Matt, just to touch back briefly on the whole like save one person thing. I felt like if they had kept that line, and then it gets to the part where he's saved one or two people at a time, they're taking the goddamn stairs. It's really funny. He's kind of just moving around being like, hey, we got to go up the stairs. We got to go up. He's not being helpful. He's not helping anyone. But then the building starts collapsing and he starts saving people. If they took that and made a meal out of that, of him being like, okay, save one person, and he goes and stops a rock from hitting someone, and then he realizes he has to do that 60 more times to the like 20 people standing there. He has to keep doing that. I think that would also be a really cool moment. So, I don't know. I maybe could have used less plane doesn't want to fly or wants to fly, less Martian Manhunter, and just do a bit more Flash stuff so that moment packs a little bit extra punch. Because like I thought it was cool, but it wasn't immediately clear to me what was or why it was happening. I don't know. There was something missing, because I was like, okay, he's turning back time, cool, but like why or how or Sorry, Barrow, I interrupted you.
Yeah, like I was even gonna say like your thing like about like that Russian family, like Whedon himself makes it like even less important, because like after he saves that family, Superman flies by with an entire building on his arms, and he saved all those people. I forgot about that joke. That was really dumb. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and the race. I'm glad they didn't do the race.
The race, I don't need that. So I guess just a few more things, because like we can talk about this movie forever, but just because there's much to it. But Matt, you probably more familiar. In fact, I know I'm not familiar with this. The significance of a black Superman suit when Zack Snyder released it to the internet, like the Snyder Bros like came, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Barrow.
Yes.
Isn't that the suit he gets resurrected in?
Yeah, in the 90s when he died at the height, quote unquote.
Mullet Superman.
Mullet, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
where was Henry Cavill's mullet as well, is what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
That suit just helps him also like bring in more solar energy because he needs it.
Yes.
Because he
It
just
stores
was resurrected.
more.
Yeah.
Right. But that's it, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a black and silver suit that because it's like, don't they reveal in the comics, they're like, he wasn't actually dead. He's just been healing this whole time.
Yeah.
Because he can't be killed because he's Superman. And why have a guy that can die?
Yeah.
I guess that's fair. I
And
mean,
also,
most
like-
comic book characters die and then just come back to life. So it's equally meaningless. So
So when Superman comes at the very end to fight
Gross, I
Steppenwolf,
know, right?
yeah, when
Sorry.
he comes, it's really disgusting. But when he says Steppenwolf like tries to axe him and he says, "I'm not impressed," I'm
not
like,
impressed.
I people like I
didn't
saw on
love
the
that
internet.
one.
There's like a lot of memes that are like, "Oh, I really love that moment." I'm like, I kind of liked it in the other one where he said something about he said the word justice. It was just a little bit more Boy Scouty to be like, "I love justice." I forget exactly the line it was.
So
if any of them should be lame, it kind of should be
Superman,
Superman, shouldn't
right?
it? Like if any of them are like a square, but like Batman's fucking lame in this movie, and it bummed me out. Like it made me feel bad. Like
made you feel bad, Fleck?
It made me feel bad, man.
Fleck?
yeah. Oh man, oh god.
Man, this was a bat flick. No. No. I got nothing. Matt, what were you saying?
yeah. So like I also have been like listening to and reading a bunch of stuff on it too. And like somebody said like Snyder's big thing is he likes to deconstruct superheroes. But like in the beginning of a universe, like the DCEU, you don't want to deconstruct these characters
If
right
you
away.
build them on deconstruction, like what are you doing then?
Yeah, that's again. It just goes back to
Yeah,
that. It's just like a big. He just
like so like
took
yeah,
so
it's
many
like,
steps to get to this moment. Yeah.
what if Superman was an asshole?
What
And
if
it's like-
Batman killed people? It's like, huh?
Yeah, it's like we don't
okay.
need any of that for the
Yeah.
beginning of this.
Yeah.
We also
Oh,
didn't need to hint. We don't need a hint on Superman eventually becoming bad in a nightmare.
They did really hit on that. Okay, we'll get to the nightmare. I feel like we got to talk about that last. The
Yeah,
epilogue,
we'll talk
right?
about that last because
Okay.
that was filmed afterwards. That was a bonus.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. I do have a few questions that I wanted to run by you guys. Is that okay?
Yes.
About the movie.
About
Okay.
the movie? Okay.
Can Atlanteans breathe air?
Seemingly so.
Okay.
In every comic I've read, I've never like seen
Because
Mira come out of
Mira
water.
can. Mira makes bubbles around herself and talks to, and so does Volko.
Yeah,
Why?
I've
He
never
has great
seen
hair in this,
any
though.
of them, like, come
Willem
out.
Dafoe with long hair, a thing I didn't realize I needed in my
It's
life.
so good
He looks great.
because he has a man bun in Aquaman, but in
Does
this,
he?
he's,
Oh, he has a man. I never
in this
noticed
one,
the
he's-
bun.
he has like
got
a
it's long and
luscious
flowing. He
hair.
looks
It's
great.
amazing.
He fucks. He fucks. Definitely. He's cleaning up in Atlantis. But okay, because I wrote down, can Atlanteans breathe air? Mira can, because she talks in a bubble. So does Volko, and they talk to Arthur. They make it sound like he's the only one that can go up to the surface, though, to fight this battle because he's both and stuff like that, and he can breathe air. I don't know.
think
Maybe I missed it. It's a long ass movie.
Yeah, Atlanteans in this, well, in a lot of stuff, they're very stubborn because they don't want to help anyone on land. So it's
Yeah.
more of like I can't like. They know the world's ending, but they almost be like, you know what? Like we're separate from that because we're underwater. So,
Okay. The car crash with the Flash. I wrote down, was that supposed to be a meet cute?
Yes.
That's Iris West. Yes,
Okay, I don't know who that is.
it's his love of his life.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's great. The music didn't tell me that at all. They walk in and like they have like this cute little awkward moment, but the music is still very serious. It immediately made me really worried for this woman. Where I'm like, well, I don't know why. Wally West or Barry Allen.
It's
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen. Yeah. So. And then the car crash, I don't know. Like, I don't know if when you're saving someone in slow-mo, if you need to like gingerly like brush hair out of their face and like look at how pretty they are. I think you can just save people.
Yes,
I don't know. It feels weird. It feels like a power imbalance in their relationship. And I'm just like,
true.
you know what? Maybe just be a cool dude and save her.
I will say, I also had like a huge issue with the music in this one.
Yeah, it's bad.
'Cause,
And
like-
on the nose. It's all on the nose.
Yeah, like Danny Elfman stuff. Say what you will, like about it being weird. Like he captures the superhero tone perfect. Like I will say, I enjoyed the fact that this guy used the Hans Zimmer
Yeah.
Superman theme.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
though I love the John Williams one, But I loved also hearing the Hans Zimmer one in this too.
Yeah.
But like everything else about it, like he didn't hit anything
Okay.
like properly with the music.
Right.
I swear to God, there were 3 times, I think, maybe only twice, but there were 2 that stick out in my head where the music syncs, the lyrics of the song they chose sync up with what's happening on screen. Where it's like Arthur's walking into the water and it's like, he's the king of the ocean, basically. And then literally like the Flash is saving that woman and he has his arm, he just starts to wrap his arms around her and like tuck and like cradle her. And it's like, and I put my arms around you. And I'm like, what the fuck? This music's so literal. The only thing more literal than that is how Superman is clearly Jesus. That's like the only thing they hit harder than the music is the Christ metaphor surrounding Superman.
Yeah.
He like goes up into the sun and is like crucified. Oh man.
What are you
It
saying,
seems
Matt?
to be that. Well, the Jesus thing seems to be like also just like
That was there in Man of Steel.
Yeah, that's where DC and Snyder mash up.
Yes, they're
But like this is also like,
man.
but what if Jesus was flawed and he
Yeah.
could fly?
But also not flawed.
But
Right.
also not flawed.
But
He's
also
just
perfect.
an asshole.
What else?
I'm just gonna say I'm really enjoying. I'm gonna really enjoy the Snyder cut of the Passion of Christ.
Okay, wait. Sorry. One last thing I want to talk about. I swear, before we can get into whatever, I thought this was friggin' ridiculous. So they've got the 3 mother boxes, right? One goes to the Atlanteans, and they like trap it in some kind of resin made by some kind of like tentacle monster, and then they have it under the ocean. The Amazonians have that temple that they've encased it in metal, and then they put it in this temple. The humans also encased it in metal, but then they buried it in a hole like 2 feet in the ground.
Yep.
And then just forgot about it.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So we fucked up. Humans fucked it. We dropped the
Oh,
ball
yeah, we
on that
fucked
one.
up.
Yeah,
The
like they
and the
could've-
human mother box was the hardest one to find?
Well, because Cyborg had it.
Yeah. Cyborg had
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Onto that though, there was a fucking Green Lantern there. Why didn't that Green Lantern take a mother box into space, make
Yeah.
it even harder
Yeah,
to come
absolutely.
back to Earth?
It's not a
Absolutely.
good Green Lantern. That's why.
No, doesn't. No, sorry. He gets killed.
Well, then the ring goes,
gets-
finds a new bear, and then they just fucking
That was
take
kind of
somewhere
cool.
else.
The ring,
Yeah,
like,
the
floated
ring
to
floats off, right? That's the thing I thought.
floated to Darkseid first because there was a whole thing that I read that was just
Oh,
like,
okay. Because he holds out for it. He wants it.
and
but then
the ring naturally goes to, this is a big nerd thing. The
the
ring
willpower
goes
thing,
to the
right?
person who has the biggest willpower, and
Oh,
that was
okay.
Darkseid in the moment until he gets like zapped, I think, by Zeus or whatever, and then the
Yeah.
ring flies away.
Dude,
So it's like-
Zeus is so yoked in that flashback.
Yeah.
So, I thought it was Hercules at first
I
because
know.
Hercules is a DC. No, Hercules is Marvel. Never mind.
So this is what I wanted to bring up because this is a huge thing in this movie is
Mm.
Darkseid. Darkseid is DC's big bad. It's
Yeah.
DC's Thanos. How did he look for you, and what did you think of his introduction in this movie? Mac, you go first.
I love Darkseid. I've read like a bunch of the Fourth World stuff. It was okay. This version of like, I've definitely seen it done way better,
Mm-hmm.
but like also it could have been worse.
Right. Angus, how about yourself? Darkseid. How did he feel, look, and in this
I'm
movie?
looking up who played him. Does anyone know who played him?
Some guy just doing a growly voice.
Overall, I think I liked him. He felt very Thanos-y, but I mean that's kind of baked into the origin of the character. Which one came first in the comics?
Oh, Darkseid.
Darkseid came first, yeah.
Jack Kirby went over and started doing
Gotcha.
the Fourth World stuff, and they're like, "Oh,
So-
we need our own Darkseid. Let's rip off Jack." And that was like Stanley. Let's rip off Jack.
So I think it worked. I liked we get to see a shot of him using his beam that kind of zigzags out of his eyes. What's that called?
It's the anti-life shit, right?
No, because he's always searching. for
Omega
the
beam.
anti-life.
It's like an Omega.
Omega beam. Yeah, that's the
there
one.
it is,
I think
yeah.
so like he uses that in one of like the futures that could come to pass kind of thing. I think in Cyborg's vision. Yeah, ultimately I think he's cool. I think it worked. It's a shame. Obviously, we're not like I don't think we're gonna.
So
see-
I've heard that HBO, like based
Oh,
on the
God.
success of this, is like, and it's not going to affect the actual DCEU, but with these versions of the Justice League, I think they might be thinking of actually letting like Snyder finish his vision.
No, let Joss do it first, and
Yeah,
then Zach
Joss,
can go over it one more time. That's interesting. I'm gonna go back to Darkseid for a second for myself. I don't think I don't like him in this movie. I don't. I think I like Darkseid in the comics. I think in this he's just looks kind of weird. I think if you compare him to Thanos, at least Thanos in those movies, like they give him more character, whereas Darkseid in this movie is just your and it's, of course it's not about him, but in this movie it's really boilerplate, like I'm a bad guy. I don't really understand.
I will say in defense of that though, in Thanos' introduction, the very first Avengers, they also kind of just made him like, it wasn't until later on that they decided like he's out to like make like, because they didn't know what they wanted to do with him as the big bad, because like in the comics he decimates half the population not to help them but because he wants to fuck death.
But like the other stuff in like the Avengers, like with Thanos, you have like a 2 or like 10-second clip of him being like, I forget what he says, but it doesn't matter.
Smiles. He doesn't say anything. He said like to court them is to court death. Is something like
I'll do it myself. That kind of thing. He's very small tee-ups.
In this one, he's given several lines of dialogue, and all of them are like,
I don't remember any of them. I forgot that he spoke. So Darkseid was played by an actor named Ray Porter, whose only other role that I'm familiar with was he was in Argo with Ben Affleck, but his first acting credit, he was in the animated Book of Mormon TV series in 1990, not based off the play. This is the actual Book of Mormon cartoon.
That's
funny.
Less of a yes.
Decidedly more yikes. God, I don't know. I was more into like Desaad and what's his name, Steppenwolf. I wasn't even really.
It's just there's too many layers, right?
I did like that like melty metal slag statue that they talked through. It's like decidedly very edgy.
Did they get that? Was that in the original Justice League Desaad?
I don't think it was.
Right?
No, there was no Desaad.
He puts the cubes into that monolith, but he just talks to the mother boxes a lot more and calls them mother. In the original, he's always just like mother, mommy box, baba goo goo gaga. And
here
now he's
you
like
get
a character.
Steppenwolf, you get Darkseid, you get Desaad, which is like his right-hand man, and then you get a shot of Granny Goodness, which nobody knows about except for people.
Granny Goodness?
Just another like.
Granny Goodness
is that the other person who was with Darkseid on Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Okay, her name is Granny Goodness.
Yeah, she runs the like orphanages, and she like kind of like tortures the children and like warps them into like soldiers for Darkseid.
Okay.
So do you think there's enough in this movie yet?
Bruce Timmiverse, she is voiced by Ed Asner.
Oh, okay.
She's voiced by Ed Asner. Interesting.
Yeah, it is wonderful.
So why did they do Martian Manhunter and not a Lantern in this?
Because this is Zack Snyder.
Okay.
That's why.
God, could you imagine if Ryan Reynolds showed up in this movie? That'd be fucking hilarious.
It would be awesome.
I'd be into it. I'd watch it. Like I've never watched I've never watched all of the Green Lantern movie. I think I've started it. And
I saw it in theaters.
It's real bad. It's real bad. Oh yeah.
All right. We should move on to the Nightmare, spelled Knight mare.
Can we just talk about the epilogue really quick? Because the nightmare is in the epilogue.
Okay.
I have a question about this. Are they setting up so my first note was, holy shit, there's an epilogue. Long-haired Defoe. Okay, so the Justice League, are they setting up at Wayne Manor?
I think
it's like he opens the doors on Wayne Manor and then it's like, we put a big table there with 6 chairs and more to grow. Yes, more to grow. Like that, like that's Wayne Manor though, isn't it? The dilapidated building.
No, I think it's like,
it looks like the building from Batman vs Superman that he goes to and broods in though.
It's the Wayne property, but I don't believe it's the manor.
Yeah, I think it's
on the property though.
Okay. So the Hall of Justice is going to be on Batman's fucking front yard.
Yeah, he's not a smart guy.
Yeah, but he's not Batman. Don't worry. This is all part of Batman Inc., which is
my God.
a thing Bruce Wayne did in the comics.
That's another can of worms there.
Okay. All right. The Nightmare, please.
Yeah,
also, I am unsatisfied with your answer. I think it makes no sense that he has the Hall of Justice anywhere on Batman property, on Wayne property. It doesn't make any sense.
The Hall of Justice, should always be like in like Washington or something.
Yeah, it's in a city, I thought. But anyway, moving
Or
on.
like on an island. That'd be better.
Yeah,
place
like
for
on
that.
an island that's just for superheroes. Thank
Or
you
in a
very much,
set-
Tongue. Here's a plug for Heroes.
Or like I would have liked it if they had a watchtower instead or something.
Oh,
but,
like the satellite? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
okay. Nightmare.
So we have there's the nightmare, and there's also before we get to nightmare, because I think that is like the biggest thing we can talk about. We also get like another version of a post credit sequence that happens before the nightmare, which is more Lex Luthor stuff.
Oh, with Deathstroke,
Slade
yeah.
Wilson stuff, who is
Basically the same as it was in the Whedon cut, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It felt
It's,
almost identical.
It's Slade, but it's Slade Wilson.
That's
Slade
what I
Wilson.
said.
You said I thought I heard Wade Wilson.
I thought I said Slade,
But
but
like, no, that's
we'll put it
yeah,
on.
Deadpool.
That's all.
We'll get it on the
somebody else.
playback. I did mean Slade if I said Wade, but I think they slightly tweaked it a bit from what I've
He
remembered.
told him that his name is Bruce Wayne.
Yes, that was the big
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, maybe that wasn't in the original. I thought that was in the original anyway.
No, in the original, I think it's like we're gonna make our own group
Yes,
of
we're gonna
heroes.
make our own league. I don't like.
Maybe there'll be a Legion of Doom. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what it
I
is.
thought they were the League of. The Legion of Doom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Jesse I don't like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. So
I don't think anyone does.
yeah, he would have made way more sense as like. I liked the ideas of like, no, he's not actually Lex Luthor. He's the Riddler, and he's pretending to be Lex Luthor. I'm like, okay,
Why?
sure, I could maybe because I could see him more as a Riddler.
Oh
type.
no, I mean like, why would the Riddler do this? Like,
No,
what
I
is
don't
it?
know. That's yeah. It kind of the logic ends there.
Well, he's just
I
very
don't like him.
manic, right? Like he
I
has
don't like
he has a little bit of Joker energy to this Luthor
Yeah.
incarnation, and it's
Who is
just
he?
like,
The Flash? Come on,
yeah.
we can't have two fast talking weirdos in one movie.
So we get that set up, which will probably never happen, but we still
Definitely
get
won't.
that set up. But then we get this new sequence which was shot just for the Snyder cut, which is the nightmare sequence. So
Did you guys like the nightmare sequence?
that was
No.
fine.
I liked it. I was into it.
Yeah.
I was like,
We got a
sure,
no,
fucking
fine,
do
and
it.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, fucking yeah. I was into it. Like I was the kind of thing where I was like, oh, that's a shame. I would have watched this movie. It looks terrible. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? To that point,
It's
Angus,
very different than any Marvel thing I can think of. You know what I mean?
yes. To that point, at least it continues more of the Batman nightmare sequence that we got in, I think, BVS it was.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to see, like, oh, in this other alternate timeline, which apparently Batman's skipping between different timelines.
Yeah. So
that's what
he
it
just had a
sounds
I think
bad.
it's still part of that timeline.
I think he's getting visions from.
Because
That's
like he's gonna like that thing that Joker was talking about is the thing that'll help the Flash go back into the past to talk to Bruce Wayne that woke up in BVS.
Yeah, like I don't think so in BVS the Flash goes and he goes back in time and tries to get a message to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I think that message is delivered after the events of what we just saw.
Yeah.
I imagine if we were to see a nightmare movie, it would probably end with everybody dying, except the Flash gets to send a message back in time. You know what I mean? That's super edgy and dark and stuff like that. But also, like, why would you tell it that way now? Like, we already know it's a future we're trying to avoid, so let's just do a movie where we try to avoid it.
So in this nightmare sequence, we get Cyborg, we get the
That's true.
Flash, we get Mira, we get Slade, and we get Batman and Joker.
And the Joker, baby.
And the Joker. So here we
Okay.
go. Jared Leto, he's back.
I was into it. I
Yeah?
was into it. He sounded like Jim Carrey.
Oh,
First
yeah.
of all, did anyone pick up on that?
Oh yeah. I'm
Okay.
like, why is Ace
He-
Ventura delivering these lines?
He was straight up doing a Jim Carrey voice, which kind of worked. I was in. I don't know.
I was more into, he was better
So-
in this movie than he was in Suicide Squad, I guess, because he
So-
doesn't have damaged goods on his head.
I know damaged. Yeah. So I have 4 notes. That I wrote down during the nightmare. First one was just Fallout Batman again, because he kind of looks like he's in a Fallout game. Leto Joker is like Jim Carrey. This whole thing is blurry because it was really blurry and out of focus. And then the last note I wrote on all of the Snyder Cut was, "Wow, Batman, I will fucking kill you." because he says that he's like the last thing I promised what's her name, Harley Quinn, as she died in my arms, was that when I kill you, and I will fucking kill you, I will do it slowly. It's like, holy shit, you're Batman. You're Batman, right? Like, that's burned in my head. That's the thing I'm gonna remember from this movie the most, is when Batman looked at the Joker and said, I will fucking kill you. I don't know why I don't like it necessarily. Batman's
that's a Batman in the same universe though, where Superman kills Arthur Curry.
Yeah, like, he kills Aquaman and stuff like that, right? It's basically just injustice, aren't they doing? Isn't it?
I get, it seems like, but also like, I heard that it was the mother bot, like it's the anti-life equation in Superman's head.
Yeah, it looks like Superman is being mind controlled or something like that. It doesn't look like Lois Lane being killed was enough to drive him totally insane.
So I've also read that there's a version of this where like Superman dies again or something. Of course. And then like Affleck and Lois are like, and Bruce and like Lois start having a relationship and falling in love and fucking. I bet
she's sad the entire time.
And then Batman dies. Then Batman dies and Superman comes back, but Lois is pregnant with Bruce Wayne's kid. And so Superman and Lois raise like these are all part of like
I thought it was Snyder's, the opposite.
These are all Snyder's like this is what, and like that kid will grow up to be the next Batman.
Oh, I thought it was Superman's kid was going to grow up to be the next Batman. Like Superman's son or daughter was going to be the next Batman. So I thought Snyder's idea was, what if at the end of this there's a Batman with superpowers?
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly different.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I didn't hate the nightmare sequence. I thought it was like at least interesting a little bit.
It's not super long.
And at least no, it's not. And it sets up at least it gives us more stuff from that first flashback or that first flash forward in the dream sequence in BBS. So I am happy to see that.
Would you want to watch a movie where maybe the perspective jumps between like modern day and this nightmare and like kind of thing? Or like, do you want to see any more of this nightmare or are you good?
So here we go. The end of the Talking Tongue episode here. The final question I have to you guys. Do we hashtag restore the Snyderverse? Matt.
So after watching the Snyder Cut, I've been watching a bunch of the Bruce Timm animated stuff and thoroughly enjoying it. And I'm like, I respect the Snyder Cut. I'm glad that he got to do his vision. It's a very coherent and like it's one person's vision. But I'm like, I don't need to go back to this.
All right. That's Matt Barrow's answers. Angus, hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Yes or no?
I don't know. It's complicated. Barrow, I think you're right in that this movie is clearly a movie that is someone's vision. And I think I almost always come down on the side of I'd rather see a person's vision than a movie that was like designed by committee. You know what I mean? Sure, yeah. In the sense that like the Poochie of movies, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, this had too much input. So I would love to see, here's what I want. I want to see like a Flashpoint movie or something like that where you take the best. I want to see a Flashpoint movie with obviously the Flash, and at the end of that movie, you've started a new DCEU where you've found a way to pluck the stuff you like from Snyderverse. So that's probably Wonder Woman, the Flash, and Aquaman. Let's be realistic.
Hopefully they bring in Cyborg.
Maybe. You're setting up like, okay, there's this reality super Batman and there's Batfleck. Batfleck dies by the end of this movie, and now we've got a new Batman. You know what I mean? Superman, I don't think Henry Cavill wants to do it anymore, maybe. So Henry Cavill dies. But this universe's Superman looks slightly different and is played by Brendan Fraser. I don't know. So kind of. I would love to see maybe like one more Snyderverse movie just kind of send off, because either way, this whole thing's going to be a fucking disjointed mess. I don't know if that's much of an answer, though, Tuong.
They are doing a Flashpoint movie.
Are they?
Yep, yeah, that's next.
And they're ending Affleck's Batman in it.
Okay.
Good. They're bringing in Michael Keaton, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
To be an old Batman.
Yeah.
No, Jeffrey Dean Morgan was his dad.
No, I know, but they are bringing in Michael Keaton.
Yeah, they're bringing Michael Keaton.
But it's like from an alternate, it's like, I think it's going to be a continuation of the 1989 Batman.
Yeah.
universe.
No, do that, but do that in the Batman Beyond movie. What the
Well, I
fuck are they
think
doing?
they're also going to be. They're bringing in that so they can set
Oh,
up
are they really?
a Batman. Like,
That's the idea.
what I'm
That's
thinking,
yeah. That's
Fuck,
what
man.
people are.
He's
How
gonna have an
awesome
old
would a
Bruce-
Batman Beyond be? Like Batman
gonna-
Beyond with old Michael Keaton is
Yeah.
the movie I want to see.
So I
Yeah.
think that's what they're
who do you
trying to
get
go for.
Who do you play Terry McGinnis? Chalamet?
Mm,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Too old now.
No, yeah, JGL, because Terry's a teenager.
Yeah, whatever. He can be an adult. Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
Tung, what do you think?
My thoughts on Restore the Snyderverse. Here we go.
I'm a yes. You know what? I'm going to say yes to restore the Snyderverse, kind of.
Okay, this is my thoughts. I also come from this perspective that I think it's really cool that Snyder got to see his vision through for Justice League, even though I think it came far too soon and he should have done more setup for this universe because it's very bloated and confusing and
Sure.
and it's just like, why is Martian Manhunter here again? But I want to see the Snyderverse restored with the caveat that it's in a comic book form and not on movies, not on screen.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Because I don't need to see this universe on screen, but I would definitely read a comic version of this.
I'll tell you what. That's not a bad idea. I think this is my favorite DC movie.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Birds of Prey, so
Yeah, or Shazam. Do you think
Yeah,
Birds
the
of
two
Prey and
ones that-
Shazam are better than the Snyder Cut?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah?
yeah,
They're-
for sure. Yeah.
They're fun and they get the idea. They're not deconstructing anything. They're just enjoying the characters.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know what I don't need? Like Superman.
Because I've heard
just
both
in
those
a
movies
field.
are aggressively bad. I've heard both those movies are really shitty.
What? Birds of Prey is awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sorry. I've seen one fight scene from Birds of Prey and it looked really bad. Like they didn't hire any stunt actors. They
You know,
just
the
had
only people
actors.
who didn't like Birds of Prey were bros who were like, they're
Oh,
making
no.
a female movie.
I don't want to be lumped in with them.
Well, guess you're gonna have to watch it.
It's been enough years now where I can just say The Last Jedi was a bad movie though now, and I don't have to worry about getting branded like that.
I mean,
Enough time has passed. Last Jedi sucked.
Matt,
Yeah,
don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Here we
we're in
go.
did,
bad
it
company, Angus.
Bad company. Oh right, no, you guys both love that movie.
Yeah. Well, it's not love. It's like I enjoyed it and I enjoyed what it
No,
was
it's a bad
saying.
movie.
It's a good movie, but
bad
Rise of Skywalker sucked because it was in response to the haters of.
Well, yeah,
Last Jedi.
Rise of Skywalker sucked. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
we're not here to talk about
Somehow
Star Wars.
Palpatine came back. Poor
We're not
Oscar
here to
Isaac
talk about Star
having to
Wars.
deliver that line of dialogue.
Not here to talk about Star Wars.
No, I know.
Dark Side over Palpatine. There you go. That's my
Wow. All Palpatine or just new Palpatine?
Just new Palpatine.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
All right, so we did it. We
Well-
kind of got through Snyder Cut. It's such a hard movie because, like, I don't want to recap the entire movie because it's this.
I
movie-
do. I took notes
already.
as though we were doing this.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think his sweater smells like? Why does that woman pick up Aquaman's sweater and smell it?
Because he's
That's
a fucking.
I get that he's like a
hard,
god. He's like a deity
sexy
to these
dude.
people. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But why does they have to make the bubble effect in this movie, but in Aquaman, that doesn't exist
do that.
over there?
Oh, they do that, don't they?
I don't
No.
think they do. They don't
They
do
just
it.
talk in the water
I don't think
like they do in the comics.
I'm pretty sure they do that in the Aquaman, and they don't do this bubble thing. Like the bubble thing in this movie is just a reason for Amber Heard and Jason Momoa to just be wet and good looking.
I'm fairly certain they do it in one of the movie in the
Yeah,
Aquaman
they-
movie. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Because they like have a conversation in like an old abandoned pirate ship or something like that, and I feel like they clear all the water out so people can't listen in on.
I mean, it's a cool effect.
I think
but
the
it's like-
pirate ship may have been actually in the Whedon cut.
Oh, is it? Maybe. Is Wonder Woman bulletproof or just her bracers?
Her bracelets.
yeah.
They're not bracelets.
But-
Yeah,
They're definitely bracers. They cover like her whole forearm.
I've heard them called bracelets. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
They're cool though.
Okay.
She does a thing where she just kind of
Yeah.
like poof, and it makes a
Okay.
shockwave.
Oh
That's
yeah.
cool.
And then I wrote down, are those kids deaf now? Because it's a pretty violent explosion.
Actually, that's a good point. She literally overcompensates and fucks up that one guy, and probably killed everyone else that she was trying to protect by doing that move in the bank.
Which
right?
one's that? Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a bit much.
Like-
Well, it's
yeah.
a directional thing. It's a directional
Okay,
thing.
well, It's like
kids
an
are probably-
overkill. She could have just punched him.
I don't know if that's how sound waves work. I guess I feel like it would have just gone out in every direction around her.
Oh well, they're magic Snyder
Gotcha.
sound waves.
Okay. So one more thing. What was it? This is the arrow of Artemis, but they clearly open a case full of like multiple arrows. Who did the other arrows belong to? Couldn't you have just said this is an arrow of Artemis? What else? Long hair Defoe.
So the other arrows are Oliver Queen, Roy Harper.
Okay, all the arrows look identical.
yeah,
they look like the one that fired.
Hawkeyes.
That's a long
yeah.
sequence. That's a long sequence where they fire the arrow to like signal the humans and stuff.
It's so over melodramatic.
Yeah.
In this movie, there's just no happiness here. There's just no happiness.
But I think maybe why I like this movie more than the other ones I've seen, it feels like its own thing. It feels more distinct.
Well,
like, you know what I mean? Like the quote unquote good DC movies feel like they've just been kind of learning their lessons from like a decade of Marvel movies, whereas the Snyder ones, good or bad, always seem to be their own thing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's maybe why I look at this one. I was like, yeah, this is probably my favorite one, because I don't know. It's
more
unique.
in line with that vision that he had. And even though I don't like that vision, at least he got to do the movie. And that's where I stand on it, which is like, yeah, this makes this, what you set up in Man of Steel and BVS. Like, Man of Steel is pretty good, but like,
yeah. I'm now worried now because I badmouthed Birds of Prey I haven't seen. I understand that these movies are just a guy taking buff action figures and bashing them together, but I'm just saying I think it's more it's at least that's something different than what we're seeing at the other big studio.
I watched a video once breaking down like the way Nolan describes the Batmobile, and like as opposed to like the way that Snyder describes it, and Nolan is talking about function, like why, like how it's used, like all of its uses, and it's not like, man, that's a fucking cool car, bro.
Yeah, can we make the wheels out of guns as well?
Yeah, like it's.
Oh boy. All right. Well, Zack Snyder's Justice League, everyone. It came, it went. I'm sure this is not the last time, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is a dangerous precedent to set.
It has,
this is like Sonic level stuff.
This was tweeted 1.5 million times, the hashtag like restore the Snyderverse, which is more than Endgame was tweeted out, which was made a news headline, which is like, oh no, HBO is definitely looking at this. So I definitely see. Again, I'd read a comic book of this. I don't need to see these characters back because it's just going to confuse things even more.
So are we going to all come back together and talk about the David Goyer cut of Suicide Squad?
David Ayer?
David Ayer?
No, I want to see David Goyer cut it up. No, I think this was another thing I saw online, maybe also from Nando V movies. Someone made the argument that like there's going to be a really good cut of the Snyder cut down by like a Redditor or something like that. Like some Redditor is going to take the Snyder cut and cut it down to like 2 hours, and it's going to be really fucking good. And I'm like, yeah, probably. Yeah, Topher Grace. You take care of it, buddy.
He'll do that. He'll just leave the Nordic singing in it.
I hope more of that. That's the only thing.
Matt, thank you so much for joining me today. Do you have any plugs for the people at home?
The only one I might kind of have is the same one as Angus, so I'll just let him handle it.
All right, Angus.
Oh, okay, buddy.
Thank you for being on the cast.
Thanks for having me.
I know you have a lot to say about the Snyder cut. I feel like we can literally go for 4 hours.
I genuinely could.
Can we just, once we stop recording, can we just continue talking about this?
Yes. Easily.
Maybe for the
I'm looking at my notes and I would type them very quickly. I definitely spelled Lois wrong. I spelled Lois Lane sure is sad, and I spelled it Loice. How do you spell Lois?
I understand. You got to write these notes quick.
I know we're trying to close this down, but I do appreciate the reason Lois was there for Superman's resurrection in the Snyder cut.
It makes way more sense. Yes. No, you're right. You're right. I was like, oh, that's better. Yeah, she goes there every day. Sure, why not? That makes more sense. She'll be there when he wakes up.
As opposed to like Alfred picking her up and like a guy she doesn't know.
Oh, yeah. And like Batman being like, bring out the secret weapon or whatever. Yeah. Anyway. Hey everybody, it's me, Angus. Thanks for listening to this Talking Tongue. For plugs, I'd like to bring up Heroes Don't Do Paperwork, the podcast I host here, and my temporary co-host Matt Barrow is helping me with the show right now. And it's an improvised interview show in which we interview people with superpowers who live in a city full of superpowered beings. So if that's something you if you want to hear me say a bunch, come listen to the show. Thanks for listening.
Great. Eventually there will be a Snyder cut of that.
Yeah.
I just want to hear the nightmare version of it. Heroes Don't Do Paperwork.
Oh, guys. Okay. Seriously? Because Tongue, you're basically the Superman of our world.
Yep.
I definitely want to have a nightmare episode now.
All right.
Where it's like,
wait, is it
Bubo?
Bubo?
And, yeah. Bubo. We'll have to bring Bubo back. Bubo will have to come back to life, and we'll do a nightmare episode where you guys are bad guy, or you're Colonel Freedom's a bad guy.
We'll
set it up. It'll happen.
Darkseid will kill Lois Lane.
Yeah,
for me.
Lois spelled properly, like how I spell it.
You'll get inside my head. I'll become evil. It'll be a
and
whole
I'll be
thing.
there to be an asshole and ask you questions.
And for myself, you can find the rest of the shows in the Pod Cavern at www.podcavern.com. Check it out. We have t-shirts now. Go check it out at podcavern.com to buy yourself a shirt. Show some love. Angus will have a shirt there too. It'll just be Jared Leto just laughing in front of the camera, doing his best Jim Carrey voice. And it'll be it's going to be good. It seems really out of place for Heroes Don't Do Paperwork, but
I'm such a fan of guys. Jared Leto, my favorite Joker. That's canon now. I'm just going to go ahead and say that everywhere I go now.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's shut this down. But before we do, I'm going to close with my favorite line in the entire Justice League movie. And here we go. In the famous words of Jason Momoa, my man.
My man. Oh, man.
Bye, everyone.